Joining us now is Ojinika. Okpe. Good to have you back.
Good
what should
morning.
I do? Should I come and hug you? Or should I sing? Or should I dance?
We'll do it. I like the singing. Today is Friday, why not? You know, the last time it was Ekabo. How are you? I miss you, Dr. Abati.
Good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, all your fans are missing you.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they are happy to see you.
Well, I'm here and I'm happy to be back.
Welcome
really.
back. Yeah.
Finally, OJ,
yes.
How could you leave me with
Yeah,
Dr. Abati?
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that. I will never do it again. Please. I will never. I'll try my best. It's good to see you both. We're missing Rufai. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, Buckingham Palace has released more details about the state funeral, which will be held on Monday for Queen Elizabeth II. The funeral will be attended by 2,000 guests, including U.S. President Joe Biden and other visiting heads of state. This evening, King Charles III and his siblings will stand vigil at their mother's coffin for 15 minutes as it lies in state at the 900-year-old Westminster Hall. On Wednesday, as mourners paid their respects to the Queen, a royal guard who was protecting her coffin fainted and fell off the podium. While in South Africa, calls are growing for Britain's royal family to return the world's largest clear-cut diamond, known as the Great Star of Africa, or Cullinan 1, in the wake of the Queen's death. The diamond is cut from a larger gem that was mined in the country in 1905 and handed over to the British royal family by colonial authorities. In Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday approved cash rewards of 200 million naira and conferred national honors on all Team Nigeria medalists at the 2022 Commonwealth Games. The Nigerian team finished as the best-ranked African country on the medals table, placing 7th overall. World's fastest hurdler, Tobiloba Amushon, who won gold at the women's 100-meter hurdles, was awarded the Officer of the Order of the Niger. Under sports, 20-time Grand Slam singles champion Roger Federer on Thursday announced the end of his career in a letter posted on his Twitter handle. The 41-year-old Swiss tennis star, who is considered to be one of the greatest of all time, described the decision to step away from the sport as bittersweet after a career spanning 24 years. Federer suffered from injuries and surgeries in the last 3 years. He is set to retire from the sport after playing in the Laver Cup, billed for next week in London. Under entertainment, French-American actor Timothée Chalamet, who has received various accolades including nominations for an Academy Award, 2 Golden Globe Awards, and 3 BAFTA Film Awards, has become the first man to appear solo on the cover of British Vogue in its 106-year history. The magazine's editor-in-chief, Edward Enenful, in an interview, described the 26-year-old actor as modern man incarnate.
How does it feel to be the first man on the cover of British Vogue?
Extraordinary, man. Thank you. And weird, just an honor. I've seen interviews with Rihanna before, or Billie Eilish or Lady Gaga or whoever. It's You know
what you all have in common? You all represent the zeitgeist, a moment in history, a moment in time.
Finally, there are mixed reactions following the visit by Nigerian entertainers, including veteran actors Saidi Balogun and Zach Orji, to the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja. The visit was organized by the Minister of State for the Federal Capital Territory, Dr. Ramatu Tijani. Actor Zach Orji began trending after he pledged his support to the APC flag bearer, stating that the group will stand by him until he wins the presidential election.
They must hear the message that you represent for a working Nigeria, for a new Nigeria, and for the Nigeria of our dreams.
Well,
Zakoji was trending on social media yesterday because of this visit that actually happened on Wednesday. It's a group called the Ambassadors of, Cumulative Change or something like that. But, I kind of liked the whole idea for the visit with Tinubu because, he made a lot of points with entertainers. I don't think this is the first video that I've had with, Tinubu meeting either sports people or people out of politics. I thought this was quite different. But, he came under fire because a lot of people are saying that he has no influence in Nollywood. Let me take a tweet. Zakoji is really campaigning and going all out for Tinubu with his full chest. Well, no one can stop him from supporting his candidate. He's only entitled to one vote. He has no influence into today's Nollywood. Has no solid social media presence. Let him collect his stipends. But also, people were also talking about the fact that the people that attended that event were not real Nollywood stars. Dr. Abati, your take on that?
Well, I don't have any problem with people making their own choices.
Yes.
As long as they are doing it within their rights and as long as, they are doing it from a principled position. Before now, we saw footballers,
yes,
right, visiting Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying that they endorsed him. Mm-hmm. This time around, we have actors from Nollywood operating under the umbrella of Ambassadors for Change.
For change.
An NGO saying also that they are, endorsing him. And it may not be true that some of those people that are there are not part of Nollywood. Said Balogun is a very prominent figure in Nollywood. Zakoji, even at a point was president of, the guild, in Nollywood. So that may not be right. But, there's something called celebrity endorsement, right? Not just in Nigeria, in other places. So if you want to endorse a candidate, you are right to do so. As long as it's not a maize and cassava, choice. This thing they say about the APC, about Agbado, people looking around for maize and cassava, that the presidential candidate of the APC, euphemistically said he was going to make available. But, these are citizens who have their own rights under the Constitution. Yeah. We just hope that tomorrow they will not go to another presidential candidate too and say they are endorsing him. Then that would become truly ridiculous. Yeah. Because we have seen similar, opportunistic, hypocritical conduct in the past.
We do. Tunde Obiola.
I just don't see how it's even worthy of tweeting. If you think somebody is so irrelevant or what have you, then why are you bothering to tweet? You're clearly quite triggered and threatened. And this attempt to corral or browbeat people into some kind of groupthink, for me, really smacks of immaturity. We claim we want a democracy which includes diversity. We claim we want diversity in terms of ethnicity and faith, but we cannot tolerate it in terms of, diverging opinions. And for me, that double standard is really quite pathetic. Let me not say we, they. I don't have those issues. Everybody is entitled to their own political opinions or persuasions. We all don't have to vote for the same person. So attacking people and maligning them because they don't agree with you is really quite ridiculous behavior. And they are, like you said, celebrity endorsements in every election cycle. I remember when Nollywood stars trooped out to support your former boss, good luck, Jonathan. It happens all the time. Yeah. This is no different.
I know. Well, in another development, the vice presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Kashim Shettima, has come under fire on social media for saying that his principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is the only candidate that has the qualities of promoting progress in the country. While describing Tinubu's qualities during an event on Thursday, Shettima said that the APC flag bearer has a dose of hospitality that the late military ruler, General Sani Abacha, had. The commitment of President Muhammadu Buhari to get things done. The humility and generosity of spirit of General Yakubu Gowon, and also the work ethic and broad-mindedness of an Olusegun Obasanjo. Shettima went on to reference other Nigerian former leaders, including Generals Ibrahim Babangida and Abdul Salami Abubakar, while extolling Tinubu's virtues. Well, before I take some comments, Dr. Abati, I'd really like your comment really quickly on this story.
Well, what do you expect the running mate of the APC presidential candidate to say? Of course, he will sell his candidate.
Yeah.
And he will say that his principal is the best man for the job. So it's just standard political rhetoric. But where people may disagree with him is in terms of the characterization of former Nigerian leaders.
Yes.
Incidentally, he left out President Goodluck Jonathan and President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, and then focused on the military leaders. So that characterization may be controversial to some people. He says, for example, the dose of hospitality of General Sani Abacha.
Yeah.
How was Abacha, a symbol of hospitality? Under General Abacha, people had to flee from this country, including babies who were targeted as victims of a draconian regime. Yes, he talked about humility and generosity of General Yakubu Gowon. Well, okay, not many people will disagree with that. But maybe some people will also disagree depending on what part of Nigeria they come from. Southeasterners may well, disagree in that regard. He talked about the work ethic and the broad-mindedness of General Olusegun Obasanjo, as he then was. Okay, work ethic. We all will admit that General Obasanjo, as he then was very hard-working, hands-on general. And then the Maradonic skill of General Babangida. Okay, the same Maradonic skill that Nigerians, were against at that time, and they thought was a source of problems for Nigeria, and so on and so forth. So there could be arguments over the characterization, but Nigerians are not looking for a repeat of the old regime.
Exactly.
He probably needs to be so informed. Nigerians, more than at any time in Nigerian history, they want change. They want a leader who can move this country forward. So, but all that rhetorical flourish, and characterization could well be considered, in some instances, of total mischaracterization. He should have devoted his energy to telling us specific things. That's what we want to start hearing now.
Exactly.
What he and his principal will do when they get there in terms of realities. He was speaking at a time the National Bureau of Statistics was announcing an inflation figure of over 20%. He couldn't focus on that. He didn't have a response to that. So he was talking about the hospitality of General Sani Abacha. No, in fact, that kind of campaign tactics can even offend people.
Yes,
and turn people against his ticket.
You're absolutely right. A lot of people are saying that he dropped the ball here with that comparison. Basically, he is saying that Tinubu is a compilation of all the leaders, our past leaders. So why would we want him in power if Nigeria is like this? Let me take some tweets. Tinubu is a combination of Abacha and Buhari, says Shatima. Nutshell, according to Shatima, Tinubu is a combination of dictatorship, looting, and massive poverty. Was it not this same Sani Abacha that sent Tinubu to exile? Well, Raymond wrote, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who tried to build his reputation on Nadeko and the June 12 fight, has a Kasim Shatima, who's referencing General Sani Abacha, one of the worst military junta, as an example of what Tinubu brings to the table. It's shocking for Nigerians to see. Tundu Abiola, over to you.
I mean, what an astonishingly... I was going to say something quite impolite, so let me just stop there. I just say, what on earth was he thinking to utter such a statement? I mean, apart from the fact that he's just damned Abacha with faint praise, because if you notice, he actually was quite fulsome in praising the other leaders that we've had. But with Abacha, I couldn't find anything to say, so he said, hospitality. I mean, that just shows you he was trying to rack his brain, but that should dictate. It's better to say nothing sometimes. Even beyond damning him with faint praise, silence would have been better. Because to use the word hospitality, when Abacha had so many unwilling guests that he kept against their will, is a slap in the face. And this is the thing I always say on this show. I do hate repeating myself, but I tend to have to do that here. When you have these leaders traipsing off to Minna or to Otta to see past leaders, they always remind me of the Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy was accompanied by the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man, cowardly, brainless, and heartless up the yellow brick road to see the Wizard of Oz, who turned out to just be a man, a fraud. He had nothing to offer them. That is what they remind me of. If they were so relevant, if they were so influential or consequential, Nigeria would not be where we are today. And this is exactly why they have been rejected by swathes and swathes of the electorate, because they're completely out of touch and retrogressive. Let us face the future and look forward to the dazzling future of this country, not continue to harken back to people that destroyed us, brought us to our knees. That is a truly awful thing that he said.
Well said, Tindu. We'll take another story. Reactions have trailed a poll commissioned by the Anap Foundation showing the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi will win the presidential election if it was conducted today. Bayo Onanuga, APC's campaign council director of media and publicity, in a statement on Thursday, said that the poll was inconsistent with reality, while NNPP's presidential campaign council described the poll's projections as self-seeking, self-serving, misleading, inaccurate, and laced with partisanship. The poll also caught the attention of Femi Fani-Kayode, a former aviation minister, who said that the Labour Party candidate and his supporters will be defeated at the polls, while predicting that the best Peter Obi will do is to come forth. He also called Peter Obi a liar. Well, his statement read in part, "The truth is that the city boy and the golden boy will trash all their adversaries and opponents with a landslide victory in next year's presidential election. Peter, the liar Obi, and his garrulous, gullible, and fantastic obedience, who believe that no one has the right to disagree with them, oppose their candidate, or change their opinion on national issues, will know their fate as early as 12 noon on the day of the election." Well, I mean, as early as 12 noon, I love it. I mean, your friend, Dr. Abati, I'd like for you to come to his aid here. I mean, he feels like he's he can see. He knows what's going to happen.
I'm not going to deny Femi Fani-Kayode on television.
All
yes,
right.
he's my friend.
Yes.
And he's doing a job. And he's showing a lot of excitement in going about it. It wasn't only, Mr. Peter Obi that he attacked. He also attacked the presidential candidate of the PDP, whom he described as Atiku Ibn Dubai and the Waziri of Abu Dhabi. So you get all kinds of things during this election season. People calling themselves, liars, labeling each other, demarketing.
Yeah, basically.
As a strategy of political communication. But then his own principles, he calls one the city boy and the other one the golden boy. Well, I don't know how that will appeal to, the average voter, whether you are a city boy or you are a village boy, or whether you are a golden boy, who is a golden boy. Okay, so, but, Femi Fani-Kayode, he has his own style of political communication. But we would like to hear more. Let me go back to the point I've made about twice on this program, about what the candidates want to do. Abusing Peter Obi, calling him a liar, Fani-Kayode organizing skits and counter skits against Dino Melaye, and all of that. Yeah, while all of this may provide entertainment for a certain category of the public, it doesn't really address the issues. So what we would like to see going forward is decency in political communication, a better focus on strategy rather than abuse, rather than divisive rhetoric, a focus on the issues. And I hope that by the 28th, when the campaign starts in full gear, the principals themselves have, a responsibility to call their surrogates to order, to say, look, can you focus on the issues? And they are all guilty across board. If you go on Twitter, there is a crowd that is constantly on a daily basis making enemies for Peter Obi. How does he address that? Because they make enemies for him. Even among persons who are ordinarily favorably disposed to him. They are calling people names, they are calling, abusing, people who make comments. That's of no help.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on the PDP side, on the APC side, you find the same kind of attitude. That's not really what we should be focused on. Why you want to impress your principal, well, can you just be decent about it and know that, there are persons, among the electorate who are intelligent people who will be persuaded more by reason,
right,
rather than your, own, vituperations. And tantrums.
Tundu, one thing I noticed was that APC responded to that poll as well as the NNPP, not the PDP. So what do you think about that?
Oh, they did too.
Yeah,
they did too. Dismissed it, which
but it wasn't
to be
like
expected.
The way,
Yes, with
right.
this viciousness. I find the viciousness off-putting.
Right.
I think it's completely wrong to refer to Peter Obi as a liar. And the same way I find it unacceptable when Femi Fani-Kayode has had his own share of being called names. I just think it's really completely unnecessary. Let's keep it clean and keep it civil.
All right. We'll take another story. On Thursday, the Lagos state government auctioned over 135 vehicles abandoned by traffic offenders. During the auction, some crumbled to their knees, while others broke down in tears as they watched their vehicles being auctioned off. A heartbroken widow and her son, Osinachi, pled with the state government to allow them buy back their vehicle. Osinachi said that he bought the vehicle for 1.8 million naira on hired purchase in 2021 and had used it for only 3 months when he drove against traffic, and as a result, his vehicle was impounded. In addition, Osinachi said that he was sentenced to prison, and while in prison, he learned that his 3-year-old daughter had died after falling ill. Osinachi said he arrived at the auction event with his mother in the hope that he would buy his vehicle back at the rate of 50,000 naira, but the price was closed at 450,000 naira. So this was one of the other traffic offenders who, if you see a man wailing like that, Tundu Abiola, but I'm not even 100% on the laws. Even with this story, do you go to jail because of this type of traffic offense? Or, I don't understand really what's happening here.
Well, traffic offenses and a lot of other offenses carry a fine and or prison time, a custodial sentence. And sometimes if you're not able to pay your fine, it's a custodial sentence. So this is what happens. But for me, it's extremely moving. I couldn't do this job. I just give people back their cars. When you see people crying, and you're just thinking, can they just catch a break? How can somebody have lost his daughter and then have to endure this? And to see a mother and her child crying, it's so sad. On the other hand, though, when you read everything you just read, OG, you just read it in a very subtle manner. I think you were trying to hide it. He drove against traffic. He did commit an offense. And Lady Justice is blindfolded for a reason. Initially, satirically, which I'm sure some people still believe, she was blindfolded, sort of mocking justice, because justice does not see injustice and all the people that are treated badly, like this case that a lot of us are moved by. But the point of the blindfold, as it's more commonly understood now, is that irrespective of wealth or status, justice must be done. And so that cuts both ways. Even if you're extremely rich or more, struggling, justice will be done. Justice doesn't care if you lost your child, which is, it's awful though.
All right then, well, let's take our final story. In a play on words, comedian Ayo Makun, popularly known as AY this week, posted a video on his Instagram page showing masquerades in Enugu state fighting on the streets with a caption, "The gods must be crazy." The video, which has since gone viral, has elicited reactions from many Nigerians, some alluding to the fact that the current state of the economy may be responsible for grown men dressing up as masquerades. Well, according to other social media commentators, the masquerades were allegedly fighting over a girl from a neighboring community. I actually really liked that caption, "The gods must be crazy." This is actually not the first time I'm taking a masquerade story. I think in Abia State, they actually banned them, Dr. Abati, really quickly.
Well,
we don't have much
it's
time.
Not the gods that are crazy. This is a demystification of the masquerade cult. Was it Zlatan and Obesere that came up with this song? Egungun, be careful. Now expressway you they go, so this is a classic case of the masquerade going to the expressway.
Yes.
And we're told they were fighting over
a girl. Dr. Abati, I hope we don't get to see you do that. Well,
Anyway.
Thank you very much again for your great analysis.
Welcome back.
More time.
And now, when we leave the set now,
We'll be
formally
we go for the debriefing section.
I knew you were going to say that. Well,
He needs all the details.
Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all next week.